This video looks at the theme that arguably drives the entire poem. Nostos, the Greek idea of a hero's homecoming, and the constant pull of temptation that threatens to keep Odysseus from ever completing it. Nostos isn't just the physical act of arriving back in Ithaca. In the value system of this poem, a safe, successful homecoming is treated as the true measure of a hero's journey, arguably even more important than glory won in battle. Dying gloriously at Troy, or vanishing forever into some distant island paradise, are both explicitly framed as lesser fates than making it home, however long it takes, and however unglamorous the return turns out to be. That's a meaningful value judgment. This is a warrior culture that also prized Cleos, or fame, and yet the poem repeatedly signals that fame without homecoming is an incomplete story, a life that never quite closes. Even the poem's structure reinforces this. It doesn't open with Odysseus's most famous battlefield exploits from Troy, already covered in the Iliad, but with a household in crisis specifically because homecoming has stalled, framing the entire epic as a story about completion and return rather than conquest. The clearest way to see this theme in action is by looking at what specifically threatens to interrupt it, because the poem stages temptation after temptation, each one a different flavor of the same basic offer. Stay here, stop struggling, give up the journey. The Lotus Eaters present the simplest version. Their fruit doesn't trap anyone by force, it just erases the desire to go home at all, leaving Odysseus's men perfectly content to stay forever, forgetting family, kingdom, and purpose without even realizing anything's been lost. Odysseus has to physically drag his own men back to the ships, which tells you everything about how seductive this particular danger is. It doesn't look like danger from the inside. There's no monster to fight and no obvious trap to spring. The threat is simply the erosion of desire itself, which makes it in some ways the purest possible test case for the theme, stripped of any other complicating factor like fear, hunger, or genuine affection. Calypso represents a far more sophisticated version of the same temptation, extended over 7 years instead of an afternoon. She offers Odysseus something the Lotus Eaters never could: immortality and eternal youth, a genuinely perfect life, if he'll simply give up the idea of Ithaca forever. Odysseus's refusal is the theme's clearest thesis statement. He openly admits that his mortal wife Penelope can't compete with a goddess in beauty or power, and chooses the harder, uncertain, mortal path home anyway. That single choice tells us the poem doesn't equate homecoming with simple happiness or comfort. Nostos is valuable specifically because it's difficult and specifically chosen, not because it's the easiest or most pleasant outcome available. It also matters that this choice comes late, after 7 years of captivity have already passed. The poem doesn't pretend resisting temptation is instantaneous or effortless, only that it's eventually, deliberately made, which is arguably a more honest picture of endurance than a hero who simply never wavers. Circe's Island offers a subtler version of the same pull, one worth noticing because it doesn't require any magic at all in the end. After Odysseus wins her respect and the danger passes, he and his men settle into a full year of comfortable feasting on Aea. And it's not Odysseus but his own crew who eventually have to remind him that Ithaca still exists and time is passing. That detail matters because it shows temptation doesn't only take supernatural form. Comfort itself, without any spell attached, can quietly erode the pull toward home just as effectively as a witch's potion, which is arguably the more unsettling version of the theme, since there's no external enchantment to blame. And then there's Thrinacia, the island of the sun god's cattle, where the theme turns genuinely tragic instead of merely tempting. Tiresias and Circe both warn Odysseus in advance, in explicit detail, not to touch those sacred animals no matter how desperate his men become. When supplies run out and the crew is starving, they slaughter the cattle anyway while Odysseus sleeps, choosing immediate relief over the promised, distant reward of getting home. The gods respond with a storm that kills every one of them, leaving Odysseus as the sole survivor of his entire fleet by the time he reaches Calypso's island. This is the theme's darkest lesson. Nostos requires not just resisting seduction, but sustaining discipline under real hardship, and the poem is willing to let an entire crew die to make that point unambiguously. Unlike the Lotus Eaters or Calypso, this episode isn't really about desire at all. It's about desperation, which makes it the theme's hardest test. Resisting temptation is one thing when you're comfortable, and another thing entirely when the alternative is watching your own men starve. It's worth connecting this theme back to the value system covered in the context video. A culture built around both Cleos and Xenia would have understood Nostos as something owed, almost a debt the gods and the world owed a hero who had endured Troy honorably. Every temptation the poem invents, easy forgetting, immortal comfort, unearned pleasure, or short-term relief, tests whether Odysseus will actually collect on that debt or quietly let it go. The suitors, in this light, aren't just antagonists, but a kind of dark mirror to Odysseus's own temptations. They've abandoned any pursuit of their own Nostos, content instead to occupy someone else's household indefinitely, which is exactly the fate the Lotus Eaters and Calypso threatened to hand Odysseus if he'd stayed. His father Laertes, seen only briefly and near the poem's very end, living out his old age in grief and isolation, functions as a quiet reminder of what's actually at stake if the homecoming never happens at all. Not a dramatic death, just an unfinished, unresolved absence stretching out indefinitely. The theme's real ambiguity shows up once Odysseus finally does get home. If Nostos is the ultimate goal, why does the poem's ending involve a bloody, uncompromising slaughter of the suitors rather than a peaceful restoration? One reading says the violence is the necessary, earned final step of Nostos itself. The household can't truly be restored, can't truly count as home again, until the men who violated it are removed entirely. A different reading is more uneasy about this, and asks whether the poem, having spent so much energy contrasting patient endurance with impulsive temptation, ultimately resolves itself through exactly the kind of impulsive violence it seemed to be warning against throughout Odysseus's journey. Homecoming, in other words, might not be a simple return to how things were, but a transformation that requires destroying part of what was there first, and reasonable readers disagree about whether that makes the ending a triumph of Nostos or a troubling complication of it.